Welcome to our video tutorial, in which our group, formed by Viviana Bon, Javiera Parra, and me, Florencia Moreno, is going to analyze an educational case and find out what are the main strengths and weaknesses it has. Moreover, we will also recognize mistakes and give solutions to them, considering what we have learned during these years. We hope you like this video.
Introduction. The case that has been presented to us takes place in a deprived school that does not have many resources to fulfill the educational needs. There is a complicated situation between students from socially and culturally underprivileged context and their education regarding a certain subject, in this case, English, in which a teacher that has been working there for 18 years doesn't find the solution on how to motivate his students to learn. And also, he has developed a negative image about the personal interest of his students. Many mistakes are being made, the most important one being that there's no communication between the students and teacher. Next, we are going to tell you how we are analyzing this situation.
Objectives. The main objective of this video is to analyze in detail why this situation in which the teacher and his students are experiencing difficulties with the subject concerning to personal situations is happening. Also, to analyze the different aspects related to educational context, personal qualities, and the teachers and establishment roles, in addition to the evaluative strategies that are being taken and how they can be improved.
To begin with, the most important aspect in which we should focus is the fact that in this case, all students come from different social and cultural environments. As it was previously mentioned, many families have low educational levels. Probably they don't have the required resources or even the mindset to encourage their children to continue with their studies, and for instance, going to college and being a professional. Furthermore, sometimes subsidized schools do not even make the effort to motivate their students to have a university degree. They just suggest pursuing technical studies and not going for more accomplishments, which would only bring benefits to their lives. If we have in mind that Mr. Zapata is the only English teacher in the school, he has been working there for 18 years now, and he is in charge of all the classes that have more than 40 students, we should consider the possibility of him being mentally and physically exhausted. It's unimaginable for a teacher being in charge of so many students and having to create activities for all of them so they can learn, considering the fact that there are students with learning disabilities too. In fact, this is a major problem that the educational establishment has to solve by hiring more English teachers and special education teachers who have the disposition and the appropriate knowledge to work with students with special needs.
The first thing a teacher should do is always have the national curriculum in mind when teaching. The main objective of the English subject is for students to learn the language and therefore use it as a tool in the diverse communication situations of life. We do know that Mr. Zapata has designed different evaluation techniques, but there is a visible failure in the way he teaches. For he has formed a mental image of his students, saying that they have no motivation regarding the subject, and he has a very low expectation for them. What the teacher ought to do in this case is to analyze and find a reason for the students' discouragement. As we said at the beginning, the majority of the students want to finish school and start working immediately. There are many realities that we are not aware of because at first sight, it is impossible to know if somebody is having problems at home. Maybe students are being abused. They have to take care of their siblings or their houses. and possibly do not have the resources to learn English by themselves or with a family member. It is also extremely important to keep in mind that there are students with special educational needs as well. That kind of students need additional help and resources to manage their learning and development process. This last mention is supported by the Decree 83 made in 2015, which promotes the diversification of learning process for students who need a special type of help during their educational experience by the principles of equal opportunities, equal education with good quality, educational inclusion and diversity assessment, and flexible educational response.
Because of those reasons, the teacher has the duty to identify the different ways students learn and adapt the strategies used in planning lessons for their benefit. And of course, the personal growth of the teacher as learning is a shared experience. This duty is supported by the Decree 67/2018, which emphasizes the pedagogical progress and the psychosocial context of the students. But how is it possible to achieve all of this? It's possible through the natural act of communication between the teacher and the students. And all of this is part of the teacher's role, who is there not only to provide information and control the discipline, but to be a mediator between the student and the environment, leaving the leading role of teaching to become the guide or companion of the student. And how can we achieve this? J.G. Brooks and M.G. Brooks proposed a series of characteristics that make up a teacher's profile considered suitable to cater for diversity of the classroom. These are the characteristics provided by M.G. Brooks and J.G. Brooks, and it's worth saying that this profile can be adequate to any situation of teach learning and at any level. Finally, the problem with socio-cultural aspects of English lead us to the same thing Viviana said before, because Mr. Zapata has formed a mental image of his students believing that they are not capable of learning these aspects of another country because they are not interested in their own country. First of all, probably he had never asked his students whether or not they want to learn about any topic, and one of the teacher's role characteristics is being flexible with the class design. And also, the lack of interest in knowing their own country is not a factor to consider when wondering if they want to know about other countries. And even though they weren't captivated by the topic, including it in the course is essential, not just to develop language skills, but to create in his students critical thinking abilities. We will also help with the stimulation of discussion between students and thinking that not everyone will have the same opinion.